Martial arts here. As you know, I run a channel here on YouTube focused on mainly old style traditional martial arts, condition training, endurance and toughness training. So today, probably haven't seen me for a while, I'm here to talk about a book update. But unfortunately, people have been asking me to, and I am doing the project of putting Iron Body Martial Arts, all the training, all the works into a book. But that's a long and a big endeavor. But the book update I'm talking about today, because as you guys know, I've got a law enforcement background of 15 years. And the book update I wanted to say today is just for you guys to have a check it out on Goodreads or check it out on Amazon. The book update for you today is linked obviously in line with my law enforcement background. It's a book of poems. So it's called Light Heart of the Dark. So you can read into that. The title's poetic. And I did do a post about it, but I just meant to come on here and do a video about it for the guys who follow the channel. So anyone who's interested or who follows the channel, please do check out the works. The links are on the description below. Sorry, I've been a bit scarce, but I've been working, and I've been doing the book. So I know it's weird because kind of martial arts, a lot of martial arts. So good morning, my friend ASP. A lot of martial arts stuff. Martial arts. I'm very practical with my martial arts, and I actually did a video. My last live video was about philosophies in martial arts. Hopefully this stream's all right because the internet's not great where I am. But yeah, so I don't philosophize too much in martial arts, but it's funny how things go full circle. And actually behind the scenes, here I have a whole book of poems that I've actually been writing since I was about 16, 17. So yeah, guys, check it out. It's on Amazon. And it's on Goodreads, but I would appreciate if people come on Goodreads, just Brett Barrels, my profile there, or type in Light Heart of the Dark, or click on the links on the thing below here, or wherever the link lives. And yeah, just come along, say hi, come along, click on the links on the thing below, say hi. Support the work if you like it, if you're into your poems. It's funny how like martial artists always find themselves. But I'm always here. Martial arts 90% practice, 10% theory. But it's funny how even if you go back to Bruce Lee and just other famous martial artists of antiquity, martial artists are also kind of known as philosophers and poets and this and that and the next thing as well. So yeah, I secretly dabble at those things as well. But I would say, yeah, it's part of the character, but it's more so linked to my kind of law enforcement stuff, and just the sadness of it all and the things that you see, and there's the things that we see in general life. The Light Heart of the Dark book that I wrote. So yeah, just a book of poems. There's, just to describe it to you a bit, I think there's two books in one, but it's like part one, part two, but I call it book one and book two. And there's like 15 poems in book one, which are like really old, like they're old, but I've done them and what I mean by they're old is I've been writing them over the last like 15 years or more, 19 years, even longer, since I was like 16. They're like these poems that I've written down a number of times and refined, and then this is their final revision. I actually did publish them in 2014, the one part of that book. So I've now got that first part of the book, refined all the poems, made them sound a bit more like what I want them to sound like today. And then I've added 17 poems to it, which are like more recent and more new. So it's pretty raw stuff. It's a bit simplistic, but I'm just interested in knowing people's opinions. So yeah, please do check it out, Light Heart of the Dark. And like I said, in that is the poetic side of things. In that, you're like a person in this dark world of like law enforcement and crime or whatever, or wherever you are, or certainly that's my experience. And it's just like my observations from within that. It's also kind of, I've also used it as a bit of personal thing. I've also used it as a tool to sort of deal with the sort of post-traumatic stress or the stresses of the sort of sadness of 15 years of policing that kind of creeps up on you in the background, all the things, the horrible things that you've had to see, the constant conflict, coming to terms with things like that. So, I mean, I don't talk about it too much on the channel, but, you know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not, you know, I'm not like Mr. Horror, you know, I'm not like a broken man, well, maybe a little, but you know, you hear the same things from all law enforcement, firefighters. People have gone through um, tragedies and stuff like that. You know, you get kind of stress or post-traumatic stress or whatever you call it. So I found these poems for me as a way I've been dealing with like my understanding of the world over the last, well, since I was like 15, 16. So yeah, certainly guys, please do check it out. I'm actually also on the TikTok there with the Light Heart of the Dark, which is more. I didn't post a link for that, but you can find it on there. That's just like law enforcement poems and like stuff there. So you can even find stuff to do with that on there. I just post some poems, and like if I see someone who's done something heroic, I might like do a poem to them or something like that. And I mean, it's pretty strange. You might be looking at this and going like, hold on, what's Iron Body martial arts guy doing, writing poems and stuff? But yeah, it's just something I've always done, but I've never really shared. But it's not you know, it's like I said, it's not unknown that kind of martial artists are kind of philosophizers, and they look at things, and you know, like certainly even Bruce Lee himself was a very poetic, and certainly within the Chinese kung fu, you know, and even in Japanese, a lot of the martial artists are poetic with they're artistic people. So yeah, please. Yeah, I mean, sorry I've been so scarce on the channel now, but the links are on below. So have a look on Amazon, have a look at poems, and I would really appreciate if people just tell me what they think, or find me on Goodreads. The link is in below. Just type in Light Heart of the Dark on Google or something, Brett Barrel Goodreads, or Light Heart of the Dark Goodreads or whatever. And yeah, follow the profile, say hello. So yeah, with the Goodreads thing and also with the TikTok Light Heart of the Dark. I think it's actually called Light Heart in the Dark on TikTok, because I got the name wrong, but there it is literally all of more the policing stuff. So there's like a picture of me and sort of in my police uniform, that picture that someone took when I had like the weight of the world on my shoulders, and it's like a lot more somber. It's a lot more of a somber side of things. But then, you know, it's just dealing with sort of poetry and those sorts of things. Like maybe it's not happy. So, but yeah, anyway, have a look. Tell me what you guys think. And yeah, support the work if you want. Like I said, I mean, this channel has been going for lots of years now, since I was in my early 20s. And yeah, you know, like, unfortunately, yeah, you know, like years and years and years, or 15 years or whatever of law enforcement. Like I said, seeing all the stuff that people see, whether it's military or fire or just day-to-day stuff, it kind of builds up on you. You've got to release it some way. You've got to, you know, there's also more to the world than just, you know, the substantial things that we have. So it's nice to get a chance to release something that's a bit deeper, you know. Yeah, but other than that, let me know what you guys think. And as always on the channel here, let me know how your training's going. Again, sorry I've been so scarce, but I've had you know, I've had some family issues which I won't go into, which have caused a lot of sort of strain and stuff like that, and taken up a lot of my time. So yeah. So I've been working away, but needless to say, my training continues. And yes, as many people have asked me, although this isn't the book update that everyone wants, the Iron Body Martial Arts book, that is in development, but that's a long thing to do, because it's so many different methods, so many different training. It's kind of the scope of the IBMA book is kind of like the scope of the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin book. If you guys have that, it's not mine, obviously. It's an online resource, or a resource you can buy. It's an old manuscript, but you know, it's a massive endeavor, you know, to list all the training regimes and all the things and a bit of this, and it's actually very short in each training regime, but still such a big book. But yeah, certainly when I do finish the Iron Body Martial Arts book, which lots of people have asked me for, it will certainly include many aspects of the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin, and yeah, so obviously my whole syllabus of conditioning. But yes, that's not the book announcement that I'm making today. Today it is Light Heart of the Dark, which is a book of poems, like 30 something poems, available on Amazon. So yeah, and if you don't want to sort of buy a book or whatever, that's fine. Pop onto Goodreads. I got an author profile there, Brett Barrel, on Amazon, or just type in on Goodreads, Light Heart of the Dark on Goodreads. And if you're on there, come and say hello, follow the thing. Say hello. It's a bit of a social media, not social media. It's a bit of a social thing. So yeah, come along there. And if you do get the work or support the work, or you've already got Kindle, I mean, I think these Kindle things are awesome. If you've already got it, like that Kindle subscription, yeah, please give it a read, give it a review. Even if it's a bad review, or well, hopefully it's not a bad review. But it's weird because I suppose like. Good or bad, I've used those poems to cope with like my understanding of all the different things that I've kind of gone through just in life, but also in my 15 years of law enforcement. So there's stuff in there about all sorts of things. There's stuff in there about there's topics in there about war, horrible things I've seen in Africa growing up as a child, and horrible stories surrounding me as a child in Africa. So there's poems about that, and then there's lots of recent poems as well. So yeah, please, yeah, have a look. Like I said, any of the links for you guys to follow are on the descriptions on this video. But yeah, Light Heart of the Dark, and the cover is basically like a black image. It's actually like a dark image of my face in like monochrome gray, yeah, and with just one little blue tear that I've colored blue. Yeah, I did have a picture of it somewhere here, but I just should have prepared one for you guys, but I didn't. Sorry. I could probably go on my computer and look for it, but yeah. But yeah, it's you'll see it on there. It seems to be the only book around called Light Heart of the Dark. If you just search the book on Google, you'll find the old version from 2014 that doesn't exist, but that'll come up as a picture of like me holding the sun. That's the old one I released in 2014. Unfortunately, I had to take that one down because one, it's only half the book, and two, it was released on a different platform. Smashwords was an old author platform years ago, 2014 I released that. But now the new one, like I said, it's not just a rehash of those. It's that whole book of poems, 17 poems, refined and refreshed to how I maybe more wanted them to sound now that I'm a bit older. And then with another 17 whole poems in there as well, and some sayings from my older brother who unfortunately passed away, and some sayings from my other brother, and some other poems that have like inspired me. But if you guys are interested as well, the links are in the link below here, but if you are interested, what was I going to say? Oh, there will be a physical copy of it coming out, like a hard copy, like a real copy, that I'll be releasing. But I'm putting a whole nother book of poems into that. So there'll be like 15 poems, 17 poems, and then there's like 10 poems now in the third book. So that's going to be like, because I'm just going to keep going with that one because it's the paperback version. I wanted to make it, put more in there for the paperback version. But certainly do support the ebook version because also it's cheap. It's cheaper. It's cheap. The paperback version will obviously be a little bit more because it's just naturally because it's paperback. But that's why I wanted to put more in it as well. Yeah, obviously the production costs will be more because there's like pictures in it and stuff like that I'm going to be putting in there, and then also going to be doing maybe some like signed copies and stuff and just giving them out. But ultimately it's just a book of it's a book of poems, covering my 15 years in police, but also my life, my sort of outlook on life from being a child in Africa and all that. So yeah, if people are interested in that outlook side and the kind of philosophical side of things, that's have a look. It's not in any way linked to martial arts. I mean, it is, I suppose we all see our world in martial arts view, but there's no like martial arts poems, like, you know, I don't know what a martial arts poem would look like, but yeah, anyway, there's the dogs walking around. Yeah, guys, have a look. Tell me what you think. If you could, kind of support it, not, and I don't even mean support it by buying it, but if you could support it as much as you can by just like going on Goodreads and following my profile or something, that would be great. Or sharing it to someone who's already, like, if you've got a mate or something who's already got the Kindle, you know, they've already got the library Kindle thing where the books are free. Just say, hey, have a look at that book. See what you think. Tell me about the poems if you think they're all right. The good thing about poems is it's kind of like, it's like an art, really, you know, like, so, you know, an art's subjective. So, you know, like one person might read it and go like, oh, that's crappy. One person might read it and appreciate it. Is it good? Is it bad? It's open to interpretation. But what has it done for the person who's written it? Has it helped them? Has it helped them deal with post-traumatic stress? Has it helped them in any way? And yes, it has helped me. And then what might it do for someone else who identifies with those same feelings, of whether it's loss, love, being a father, just all the things that have happened to me from the beginnings of, since you guys have known me, really, like 20 odd years ago, and before. So yeah, a bit of a strange one coming on here for that, but yeah, like, also, you know, it's time to use all the awesome people of the channel, and just get them on board, see what they think, which is my kind of first foray into writing something, you know, proper. Yeah, so the light heart of the dark. Yeah, have a look and tell me, guys, if you want to hear more about it. I can come on here and do a poem or two. But like I said, I do those. I've just started a TikTok profile, Light Heart in the Dark, because I got the name wrong. But yeah, where I kind of do some of the poems there. And it's more linked to the law enforcement side of stuff. But yeah, I will be doing a video as well soon on what was it going to be on? It was an awesome topic I saw. Oh yeah, it was on the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin. So let me know what you guys think. But I will be doing a video on, or just a live stream or something, on the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin. And like the upper levels of each skill, and where it turns into folklore and what's possible, because there's loads of skills in the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin where it kind of delves off into the realm of like mythical, you know, where, so that's also, it's an awesome discussion to have about that. Yeah, no, it's awesome discussion to have about that. Oh, also for everyone, like, sorry, this is a bit of a freaking, what do you call it? A promotional video, but I'd just like to thank all the people again who still support the Patreon, even though like the content's been, you know, pretty much, there's been one or two things, but yeah, there's not, other than what's on this channel, the content's not really been flowing, but people are still supporting the Patreon, which is nice. Also, the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course, it always has a sale or two a month, like maybe one sale a month or something. It seems to always go through Amazon, so I don't seem to be getting much from it. Sorry, not Amazon, like, I don't know, going through an advert or something, I don't know. So, but certainly if you contact me for a code, I can give you a discount code, and then like actually you get a discount, and all the proceeds from the sale go to me, or most of them, as opposed to like most of them going to the company that it's on. But yeah, as always, guys, please don't be shy to reach out. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll try and get onto the comments a bit more. But yeah, it's yeah. So that's all, guys. Just yeah, just wanted to get it out there about this book of mine that I'm for some reason I'm really proud of it. I'm happy about this book, even though it's just a book of poems. But I'm also really interested to see what people think about it. Like, because maybe it's bad, but the cool thing with poems is, like, even like, with poems, the cool thing is you only really need to write like one good poem, or one or two or whatever, or a good saying or something, and then people appreciate it. So, like, even like Edgar Allan Poe, and a lot of the famous poets, they wrote lots of works, but people only know them for like one or two poems. Like, Edgar Allan Poe is known for like The Raven and like Helen, um, uh, and a few others which escape my mind now. But like that quote, "The Raven Nevermore" poem that was on Simpsons, and uh, "A Dream Within a Dream." Edgar Allan Poe is not known for that one. That "I stand amidst the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream." So do you see what I mean? So, so that's the cool thing about poems, like, you only need to write one or two. Not that you're trying, obviously you want all of them to be good, but yeah, so that's why I'm really interested in, guys. Please have a look. If you're interested in that sort of thing, yeah, have a look. Tell me what you think. Go on Goodreads. You might learn a thing or two about me that you didn't know, if you're interested, or that side of things. You might have a creative side yourself, because I just actually connected with a guy. I'm not sure whether to say his name now, but he's another author on them. So I'll say his author name. But he was his author name is Zeno Dana. I think it's Zeno Dana. He's a mate of mine. He used to go by the name of Otherworldly Iron. He might still be on here, Otherworldly Iron. But I won't say his full name yet, in case he doesn't want me to on here. But yeah, he was a YouTube mate of mine. He had a channel on here, and we've kind of reconnected because he's an author. He's written some of his own books. Are really good. The book's called what is it? The Universe Engine. Hold on, hold on. I'll find it on here. Where is it? Sorry, mate. I should have remembered the name of your book. That's terrible. I haven't forgot it. I just want to get it right. There we go. Conversations with the Shadows. Where is it there? Zeno Dana. So it's actually Dustin's his first name. But so yeah, he was Otherworldly Iron on here, and we've kind of reconnected recently because I've written this book of poems and he's written that book. We realized, talking about poems and writings and philosophies and stuff, that he's kind of into the same writings and philosophies and stuff that I am. So that's pretty cool. So that's awesome. So yeah, he's got a profile on Goodreads, but someone else has put it on there for him, so he hasn't populated it. But yeah, sure enough, it's great. And if you guys are, if also that, I mean, that's what I mean. There's someone I've known for years through here, and then I just found out he's written this book, and we kind of share these philosophies that we've never shared before. So it's awesome. It's like so if you guys as well are like interested in those kinds of things, like, let me know. Come on the Goodreads there, Brett Barrel on the Goodreads, or Lightheart of the Dark. Just look for the book on Goodreads. Follow the link here. Come on there, say hello. Yeah. There's a whole thing on there for just exactly that very thing. Yeah, so cool. And in regards to the IBMA book, Iron Body Martial Arts book, like, lots of people have asked me, and I've been doing one over the last couple of years, between the chaos that is my life. I've been doing the IBMA book, but it's a lot of work, because I want it to be right. And you can imagine, like, just look at my channel, guys, how many techniques, conditioning methods, training methods there are. And then I've got to categorize them and then I've got to present them in a way that it's like digestible for everyone. Then there's like qigong stuff, and there's like and so it goes from real simple to complicated. But that's probably a good way to make the book, is from simple to complicated. Like just like start with the punch, start with how you hold, start with everything. But yeah. But you could just, it could, yeah, it's just an ongoing endeavor, that book. Yeah, so just hang fire with that. And then again as well, is like in a martial arts book like that, you want illustrations, and you want pictures and photos. So then that makes a problem with it being an ebook, because ebooks, they discourage photos for some reason. It must be the servers, but they discourage like big file sizes. So if you do an ebook and you put loads of photos and pictures and stuff in, actually for some reason what happens is the people who distribute the ebook, they take more of the revenue from the ebook, and they give like the author like less, because the file's bigger, because it's got more content. It's like the bigger the file, the more they take, which is weird, but I don't know, it's something they do. So probably I can self-publish the I'm Body Martial Arts book with pictures and with everything, but it'll have to be a physical book, which is fine. You can do that on the Amazon Kindle stuff, and obviously now I'm getting experience with like the editing and how to make something look professional and nice, which is again why I'd like people to check out this Lightheart of the Dark book of poems that I've done, because like if people see that and say, oh, that looks well edited and it still looks professional, well, that was all self-published, so through the Amazon format. So and it's kind of a big learning curve, but I can use that learning curve to put into the Iron Body Martial Arts book, but I don't think I could be releasing that as an ebook, or I could probably maybe release like a text version with a few pictures. But yeah, it's this weird file size thing with the ebooks. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So that's that, guys. A bit of a different video from me, in that regard. But as always, look, I hope everyone's having really good training. Please do keep me updated on what you're doing, and yeah. Check out the Goodreads, check out the Amazon Lightheart of the Dark, and there's even a TikTok Lightheart in the Dark channel, Lightheart in the Dark, which I run, which is all like police based, and it's all poem. It's this poem side of things, which I obviously don't really want to bring here, because this is the martial arts side of stuff. But it kind of does connect, because like I said at the beginning of the video, martial arts and philosophies, and poetry, they kind of all go together. But again, like, thanks everyone for like watching the channel. Yeah, and yeah, every little helps. So yeah, let me know. And like I said, my next video that I want to do, hopefully soon, is just a video discussing the 72 secret arts of the Shaolin, and like the different skills that are in it, and where they, like, at what level do they become like mythical. Because I don't know if you guys, like I said before, if you guys have the book or you've read it, it's kind of it tails off into folklore. It's like it'll like give you the skill for like red sand palm, and then it'll say like, oh, so and so, this monk in like 15 or whatever trained it, and he then trained it on this, and his hand got so powerful that he could like, it just, make thunder with his hand, and not quite like that, but there's just, I think there's a cool conversation to be had with these skills, like where do they turn like esoteric, or where do they turn into folklore? Because like in the Chinese kung fu, like the folklore and those beliefs are like interwoven. I had a friend, I got a friend, Leslie Conn, who's actually the headmaster of a Shaolin kung fu school in South Africa, direct lineage, Jin Si Sum, direct lineage from a master in China of a bodyguard school. that used to bodyguard the caravans that used to go up and down. So a really practical fighting school of like everything. And that guy does everything. Like, you know, they do the shuriken, they do all the weapons, they do everything. It's amazing school. But I remember him saying to me, because he's an older guy, he's in his 50s, he went to the Shaolin Temple in like the 80s and he said it was just ruins. No one was there. You probably know this, but no one was there because it was just, you know, because of the communism and everything, it was just in ruins. It's only recently, and I say recently within, you know, since then, but it's only recently in the 90s, late 90s, 2000s and beyond that it was kind of reestablished at the Shaolin Temple. And one thing he said as well is that he was surprised when he went to China and when he trained in China, how much like sort of black magic-y, not black magic, but how much juju. Sorry, I think that's an African word, juju. Maybe you guys don't know the meaning of juju. Juju's like muti, juju medicine. It's like witch doctor, like how many strange beliefs they still had. You know, like folklore kind of stuff that they like still believed, like, you know, bones in cups and, you know, weird, you know, just I guess it's like philosophies and culture that's like so far from like what we would usually do in the West. But he even considered it strange, and that exists within the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin. That same theme of like these skills that go to like the upteenth level, but you've got to be careful with them because, you know, you could spend a lot of time training something and it's not possible to attain the level described, or is it? Which is interesting because let's, for instance, the iron arm skill, and then I'll go because this video is meant to be about my poems ebook. But the iron arm skill in the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin. Now, if you go to the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin and you read that skill of the iron arm, it describes to you how to train it. And one of the last levels of training that iron arm skill was to literally hit your arm against like the sharp edge of a pillar. And it was saying like, you could smash this down and smash this down. And I was like, that must be the level where it's just become folklore. Like, surely no one is going to be able to hit their arm against like the sharp edge of like a granite pillar and knock it down. And for years and years and years of my training, like decades, I did not believe that was an attainable level described in the skill. I can actually, I'll look it up here, but I'll finish my story first. I did not believe that was an attainable skill until like one day on YouTube. I can't even remember where it is. I probably reposted it years ago. I saw this video of this Chinese guy. So it was a Chinese master, like just an old Chinese guy. He didn't look like crazily powerful. And he was hitting with the bone of his arm, pardon me, the corner of 4 like granite pillars, square pillars, and he's hitting it with a corner of the bones of his arm. And I think years later, like one of those Japanese black belt senseis went to him, and he also did a demonstration for him years later. But he's hitting with the corner of his arm on those pillars, and he was breaking the pillars with his arm. And it's at that point that I kind of like my mind blew open, and I went, shit, I've got to rethink. You know, because I got, you know, I have faith in the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin, but I've got to rethink like how much of the stuff in this manual, you know, is like really attainable beyond the level that I even thought it was possible, you know, to the like folklore level. Bros, this is why I got this Kindle thing, bros. And I just popped freaking martial arts freaking stuff on here, and I've got all my martial arts PDFs. I didn't have to buy them online. I've got all my freaking martial arts PDFs on here. There's only 2 at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can find the iron arm skill for you. This isn't the iron arm video, but I want to find the iron arm skill for you, so go look it out. Look how good that is. Look at that. Let's have a look. Unless it's called something different, not iron arm. I'll have a quick look. Let's have a look here. Uh, Actually, that pole of the plum blossom is a good one, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Skill of iron arm, TB Gong. Skill 30, TB Gong. Okay, let's go into it. And here it is. So look, let's read it here. So skill of the iron arm. I won't read the whole thing. So strengthening the inner and outer, as well as developing yang, designed for training arms. And the method is very simple, and blah, 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 blah. You strike at poles indoor with your arms, both with the inner and outer and the back sides of an arm. So that's twin locks. That's the side bones, that's this bone, and that's the top and the bottom. Yeah, we know that. Each day deliver a number of blows and the force should be increased. Thus your arms will be gradually trained. So that's level 1. With this acquired, you should proceed to brushing up your skills. It is necessary to go exercise both on wooden poles and trees, which is pretty, well, I've done that. So I've been doing that one for years, where I've been using trees and limbs of trees and everything. Trees should not be smooth. And even like ice, they should be shaggy by touch, their surface uneven. It basically means trees with on. So you start on posts, like the posts you see in the Shaolin with the wooden, the clean wooden posts. You start on those or a wooden dummy, and then you move on to like rough trees and stuff. So I've always used tree limbs and stuff. Trees should be uneven, bulging in some places, concave in some places. Like after training, the skins will swell, you'll get pain in your arms, blah, 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 blah. We all know that skill of iron arms because you're training on a rough surface, so that's fine. If you train each day during a year, your arms will be strong and you'll be able to break wooden things and stone poles. And yeah, that's the great thing is that most people won't ever go beyond level 1, but you don't need to. If you're just striking the wooden poles with your arms will be so much powerful. And I can attest to that, having done this training for years, how much force and power it puts into your arms. Okay. So yeah, it says at first you train, which is what I said, smooth and even things. And then then the second level of the skill is hitting stone poles. Once you can hit wooden things, then you train by striking smooth and even things, and then with time proceed to training with stones and rough and uneven surfaces. So it means like rough stones. A blow should be made as deep down as if through the stone. So at this point of level 2 of the skill, you've got to the point where you're hitting your arm into like stone objects or pillars, like as hard as you could. Well, I guess maybe not as hard as you can, but saying you're trying to do like penetrative blow where you're hitting and sticking, which is what I like to do when I'm conditioning my arms. And any kind of conditioning is I like to, there's like surface hitting, but you want to hit and like penetrate in, let the force go in. Excellent. And then it's saying this is only level 2, that you will get to the point where you can strike the stones with your arms, raising with all your force, and you'll be able to split stones to pieces and stuff like that. And that I've seen that. That's but even that itself is such a high level of training. That's a couple of years of training. So it's saying after you've done this, your arms will be very strong. You'll be able to hit a man so his bones will be broken and you'll cause internal damages. And your arms will be awesome. So basically, but I thought it went further than that. Blah, blah, blah. This technique is very useful. It'll take relatively little time to learn. Its essentials can be learnt within a year. That's true. And mastered to perfection within 3 years. That's the usual for all iron skills. During a whole year, the perfection of this technique can be matched with learning other methods of wushu. Of course, it's saying please train other things as well. In the process of acquiring this method, learners strengthen both inner and outer. If consolidated, and repeated this technique during 1 year, your arms will attain constant hardness. It will be possible to break with them not only a thin tree, but also a thick one, and arm blows will become abrupt, chopping character. Okay, there we go. Maybe there's another skill then, but I'm pretty sure that maybe it's in a different skill, but I'm pretty sure there's then a skill where you hit like a green stone, which is basically malachite, which is even a denser stone. But anyway, long story short, maybe it's another. Well, I thought it was that skill, but long story short, like, I didn't think the upper levels of that skill could be reached, or the other one that I'm thinking it is, until I saw this Chinese guy breaking these square beams of stone with the edges, the bones of his arm. Like, honestly, man, like, if that guy blocks your hit or hits you with your arm, with his arm, you are, well, imagine he's breaking a like square granite pillar, even though, obviously granite's like brittle, but he's breaking a square. Don't get me wrong, it's very hard, but what's hard is also inherently can be brittle, but it's still very hard, very dense, and very strong. He's breaking the edge of it away with his arm. Yeah. So there's no tricks, there's no games there. And you can see in the method how arduous and long the training is. It's so much toughness that, yeah, no jokes aside, if you going to mess with this person and they're forced to hit you or block your kick or whatever, you're done. Yeah, you're in trouble. It's basically like a leg. It'd be like having arms that are like legs, So cool. But anyway, that'll be for a separate video. Because this was meant to be the video about my ebook, Light Heart of the Dark. But just in closing, uncorrected. Yeah, so just in closing, I want to show you guys quickly. So there's a little comic living there. There's this isn't quite the file, but there's some of the file for the Light Heart of the Dark Arts or backwards ebook. And there's what I said. Contents page 15 poems in book 1, and it goes through 15 poems, all sorts of topics: soldiers, warfare, things I've seen, children I've rescued, and then book 2 is another 17 on the ebooks, and they're all in that kind of format. Oh no, sorry, 18. They're all in that kind of format. This is just a PDF, so it's not quite how it looks. It looks better than this. But yeah, this is in this kind of format, not backwards, obviously. This is because this is reversed, unless it looks the right way around for you, I'm not sure. Yeah, so there we go. And yeah, just loads of cool poems, just insights. I wrote a poem to my friend who's an ex-Afghanistan veteran soldier. I wrote him a poem because he's having a tough time, just with like PTSD and trauma. I just kind of wanted to write him a poem to sort of comfort him, to make him know that, maybe it's understood what he had to do and maybe he's forgiven, but who knows? So I wrote him a poem, and there, it's called To You, My Friend. Yeah, probably pretty simple things, but, it's from the heart. Yeah, so it's just stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm quite happy with that one that I wrote to my friends. Oh, my great, brave and beautiful friend, I know for you war did not end. The haunted dreams of life, it seems, the shattered skulls by blistered beams, the bent and broken bones of men, the choice that wrought the sins of 10, the whispered name of one's lost friend, the plague of pain that never end. I know your heart, let's not pretend. I know you loved all of your men. I know you think of all of them. And it goes on and on and on. But it's that sort of stuff. And it goes into all sorts of stuff. So that poem goes on, but I won't read the whole thing because I'll bore you guys to death. But yeah, it's all those sorts of topics. So yeah, father to son, something I wrote to my son. Seared heart of guilt, It's about guilt, chains of the mind, tears of the clown. So many things. So yeah, they're all in that format. They're pretty cool. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. I went round to my father, who passed away, unfortunately, terminal cancer. I looked after him for looked after him for some time. Sorry, I thought I heard someone. Looked after him 6 months, terminal cancer. That was pretty tough. So I wrote one to him. It's sad when you don't have these people in your life anymore, as you guys would probably know. So yeah, I'll read you a bit of it. I mean, they're pretty simple. That's what I mean. Like they're simplistic in nature. Father, it is time, so I send to you this rhyme. To heaven may it climb. I make it my last because it was the last poem. Every poem can come to pass as you did. You left this kid a man. I'm staggered as I stand in your shadows and dust. To the sea we do entrust your soul, because we buried him at sea. From whence you came, you must go. So, Father, I thank you so. From the heart, where could I begin to start to make or mend or give back what I owe? You are the bank and I the poor widow who has lost so much. So, Father, in you and God I trust, which is something my dad always used to say. He'd say, in God we trust, the rest pay cash. So that was funny. So, Father, in you and God I trust. That is enough. Keep the change you must. That's something he also used to say. And no for hours. And it goes on and on. But yeah, anyway, oh shit, it does go on. Look, there's a whole nother page. So it's that sort of stuff. But that's why I'm interested to hear what people think. Because, you know, they might appreciate it, or they might just be like, man, this is crappy. It sounds like a baby's written it. And then at the end, there's some cool stuff from other people. So this is Quintus Corellius Fortus, who was, I think, some senator or Roman senator, but he wrote like an inscription to his daughter, which I thought was awesome. That was, he wrote, and it's like 2,000 years old or something like that, and it shows that people have just always been people, There's something written by my little brother there. He wrote a pretty cool saying, Invictus. You guys know that, by William Ernest Henley, a famous poem, that Invictus. Look, that goes out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. It's a famous poem, that one. What's one of the famous lines? Beyond the place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. That's like such a powerful line, I think. Something there from The Unknown Life of Christ by Nicholas Nikchevich, which is an 18th century book. Which goes into the esoteric stuff. Well, not esoteric, but there's a whole record of Jesus made by the Tibetans that we don't know about. So it's a book about that. And there's even something from the book of Enoch there. No angel hinders and no power is able to hinder the spirit of the righteous, which I think is a lovely thing. And then some other stuff and a few sayings from my older brother, who unfortunately passed away as well. And there actually is a poem to my older brother in here too, which I wrote, which I went past. There's probably a couple of poems to him, actually, because how else do you speak to your brother or your father when they're dead and gone? Other than late at night when you're on your own and no one else is listening, But one of my brothers saying, anyway, I'll go.